So you seem to love my video on passive income starting from zero. So I wanted to make a follow-up video on that with my top 3 secrets to passive income. And if you want to know more about this, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified every single time I post a new video. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure you hit subscribe. I'll say subscribe one more time. Make sure you do it. Okay, cool. So we're gonna dive into my 3 secrets today to really getting the ball rolling when it comes to passive income. Like I said, it's a bit of a snowball effect and it does take time, and passive income isn't a great term for it because it does take a lot of work, time, definitely upfront, and sometimes it takes a little bit of money upfront, but we're going to talk about how you can start doing this with no money involved, but it is going to take your time and effort to get this up and running, and then it starts to become passive a little bit later on. So I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, you're going to make 6 figures overnight and do nothing, because that's not real. That's not real life. I hate to break it to you. And if that is you who thinks that's real life, maybe this is not the right video for you. That's cool. I'm just going to tell you the truth. So I wanted to get started because I was actually at a meetup here in Vancouver, and I was talking to a bunch of YouTube creators, and one of the creators there has less than 200 subscribers on his channel, and his channel is pretty new, and he's making $5,000 a month passive income. And the reason he's able to do this is because he has such a targeted channel. So my first secret to getting the ball rolling with passive income is profitable content, profitable audience. So the reason I say this, and I know that if you don't have a niche, that's okay. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, I don't have that, so how am I going to start? So I made a video on that topic itself. So if you don't have a niche, watch this video on how to grow without a niche and how to find a niche if you don't have a niche. And it'll be really helpful for you in getting this process started. So the biggest thing is that I call it the magnet effect. So when you have profitable content, which would be up here, so your content lives up here. So this would be your YouTube videos, your blog posts, etc. And if you watch that video on getting started with passive income from zero, you know that I talk a lot about evergreen content, because the only way to generate passive income, particularly online, is if your content is working for you when you're not working. So YouTube and blogs, they're amazing for evergreen content because those videos, if you make them and they're not based on trends, they're gonna work for you for years to come. So i.e., if I make a video on how to get more views on YouTube, you're gonna wanna know that information for years and years and years to come, and those videos continue to rack up views for me. And with every view, that means that I potentially am making more passive income, whether it's through YouTube itself and AdSense, or it's through affiliates that I'm talking about, or it's through my paid programs. So you want content that's evergreen. So your evergreen content needs to be super targeted. So if you want to be someone who's talking about, let's say, tech and gaming or something like that, you want to pick a topic that people are going to want to look at for a long time. So that's going to be your content. And that content is going to attract your audience. Now, your audience is going to be super targeted, because if you're talking about, let's say, a specific kind of camera, there are only so many people in the world who are really going to be interested in that topic, and they're hyper targeted, which means they are hyper profitable because they're actually going to be buyers for you. So you want your audience to be magnetic. So what I mean by that is, let's say you make one video on what kind of camera to use for YouTube in 2020. Let's just say that's the topic. This audience is interested in cameras for YouTube in 2020. So then when you make another video on, let's say, the best Sony cameras for 2020, this audience is already bought in and already interested. So you are building an audience of buyers for your products or services that are going to generate passive income for you. So you have to be super targeted in your content in order to attract a magnetic audience that's going to be interested in your content moving forward. And this audience, because they're already bought into what you're doing, is going to help you grow even bigger of an audience and even deeper of an audience, because they're going to become your first ambassadors. And then every time you post a new piece of content, they're going to drive back to that content, which is going to give you more eyeballs and potentially more customers and targeted buyers for your passive income products and services. Make sense? Cool. So that is really secret number 1. You have to have hyper targeted content. If you have a broad channel, you're not going to make nearly as much money, simply because people don't know what they're there for, and they don't know what they're actually going to want to buy from you. So it might be getting millions of views, but there's nothing profitable about it because you don't have anything that you really want to sell, and the audience doesn't even know what they're there to buy. So having a targeted audience, like that gentleman who has 200 subscribers but's making $5,000 a month because he's talking about specific tech products, then that is going to be more profitable for you. So that's secret numero uno. The next secret is your niche, which we kind of just talked about, but I wanted to dive into this more because there are niches that just are more profitable than others. So particularly on YouTube or on blogs, things like tech reviews are super, super profitable because you have to think of the price point of the things that you're going to be selling. And if you're using the Amazon affiliate program, then that's an amazing way to start sharing products that you believe in and getting an affiliate cut or commission from those products. So the more expensive the product is, the more commission you're going to make from it, which means that you're going to make more money and more passive income. So the niches that are most profitable are things like tech. So cameras, any sort of tech product is really, really profitable because generally the price point is a little bit higher. The other things that are really profitable are things like product reviews. So you could even have like a cooking channel and you want to review like cookbooks, or you want to review certain types of pans or pots, etc. I always use that example and I'm not a cook, so I kind of make it up. But product reviews is very profitable as well. Another reason it's so profitable is because if you follow the secret in step 1 that I shared with you, it makes it really obvious for brands to want to work with you when you have a targeted audience. I always say that if it's broad, you're going to be broke because advertisers and affiliates and companies that you want to work with, or products that you want to sell, or products that you want to endorse that you can generate passive income from, they're only going to be profitable for you if your audience is actually bought into it. So advertisers, affiliates, and brands are going to look at your channel and say, holy crap, that's the dude who talks about accessories for your iPhone. We're going to give him all the iPhone stuff to sell for us or to be an affiliate for iPhone accessories, etc. So that's why things like this are so great, because if your channel is so focused on one thing, then brands and affiliates, etc., they know exactly why they want to work with you. So that's really important. The next one that works really well is tutorials. And I showed you guys an example of this because my channel, I do a lot of tutorials, and I did one video on how I post to Instagram. I talked about my hashtag strategy, and I work with a company called Flick because I highly believe in them, and that's a huge part of actually being successful with passive income. You can't just throw out a product that you've never used before because people won't buy it. But for me, the products I do use and believe in, I talk about them all the time and I generate passive income from them. So I talked about Flick, and that's bringing in $1,000 a month for me as passive income because I believe in it and because that video is so targeted to my audience, and it's a really in-depth tutorial on how to use it. So people are like, wow, look how well that works for her in her strategy on Instagram. I want to get it for myself. So showing people how things work for you is going to be an amazing way to get people to buy the products and generate that passive income. So those niches are great, particularly on YouTube, to start generating passive income. So what niche do you think that you would want to focus on? Comment below and let me know. So the next secret I'm going to share with you is the snowball effect. And this is really important because it's going to start to really pick up steam once you pick the kind of content, the kind of audience you're trying to attract. And what happens is that one piece of content that maybe starts with like 20 views on it, over the years, because it's evergreen content, is going to start generating views every single day because it's ranking in the search results on Google or on YouTube, where it's getting picked up and suggested. So let's say you have a camera channel. When you're first getting started, you're probably talking about cameras in general and kind of having more of like a broad vision within that niche. But you're gonna start to notice that there's certain videos that take off. So let's say you do a video on Sony cameras, and you do it on, let's say it's one specific camera. This is an amazing opportunity. If this video takes off, this is an amazing opportunity to niche down, to blow up, and to earn more passive income. Because if you're talking about the specific camera and you have the affiliate link to it, you're getting more buyers for it, and you're building an audience of Sony camera enthusiasts. So then you want to make more videos on this topic, because you're going to double down to accelerate your growth on your channel, but also in your passive income, because you're building a bigger audience that's obsessed with Sony. So instead of talking about cameras in general, you're going to create a snowball effect by specifically talking about Sony cameras. So it's really about doubling down and niching down to blow up. And the other part of this is I talk a lot about diversification when it comes to your revenue streams. You know that if I'm on YouTube, I have a bunch of different ways that I'm generating revenue on YouTube. And my biggest revenue generator is my courses and my programs. but that doesn't mean that I'm not using other paths. But the thing is, yes, I diversify my platforms and I diversify my offers that I'm making passive income with, but I don't diversify what I'm talking about. If I want to be generating passive income, I know I need to be talking about YouTube, because YouTube is related to every single piece of passive income that's coming in, whether it's the tools, the apps that I use, or it's the programs and services that we offer. They're focused specifically on YouTube and building an online business. So the more that I focus there, the more money I'm going to make. So that's going to create that snowball effect as well. So once you find the niche that's making you the most money, which this takes a little bit of time in the beginning, you build your channel a little more general, and then you start to niche down to blow up, then you're gonna see the snowball effect of making more and more passive income as time goes on. And that's the real beauty. I like to call it magical money, because it's just sort of flowing in without you having to do more work. So the best thing that you can do right now is, if you have an idea of what you wanna talk about, just write that down and create a list of all of the things that are for sale within that topic. And the first place to look would be on Amazon, because Amazon Affiliates program is honestly the easiest way to start generating passive income online. So if there are books, ebooks, tools, apps, tech, things that are around that niche, write that list, because then you can build your video topics or your blog topics around that list. And that's how you're gonna start making content that's actually gonna make you money. So that's really how you start getting that passive income rolling and start building that snowball effect, is making sure that you have the right content for the right audience, and that audience will continue to drive traffic back to your content and build it to create that snowball effect. So if you want more info on this, make sure that you watch this video if you haven't already, on how to grow your passive income from zero, and make sure you check out this video that I mentioned on how I post to Instagram, because you'll see the perfect example of how I generate passive income, talking about the things that I use within my tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button below. Be sure you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified every single time we post a new video on this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.